Ta-da! Should be live. Should be live. Hello, everybody. It is the 4th episode of Metal Wolf with myself, Steve Tom Sawyer, and Mr. Tulso. How are you, Mr. Tulso?
It's been a week.
All right.
I
I
think I say
think
that every week.
I think that's yeah. It's like, isn't that your general intro? It's been a
I'm like
week.
Peter from Office Space. Every day's the worst day of my life.
I feel you there. It's my perpetual state of existence.
Yep.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I sold the game today.
Oh, Warren.
That was pretty neat. Other than that,
How many?
how many?
How many?
Over 1,000 of them.
Word.
Many 1,000 of copies. Which sounds like
Feel
not a lot for video games. And I
so bad for
suppose,
the UPS guy
well,
or
he'll be,
FedEx or whoever the hell you use.
he'll be fine. They'll be fine. Probably. I don't know. I don't really have to care. It's time to talk about metal again, as we do. I I think you and I are both in shock and both anxious to just jump right into this episode because there are things that we were talking about at the in the bare minutes before, um, and I don't think we were expecting.
Literally about to push go live, and I come across this article.
I was just like, wow, that's something else. So, I love how it just still says episode 2. I'm an
Yeah,
idiot.
that said it last week, and I just never I forgot to tell you to change that.
I can update that right now. That's the least I can do. As the I'm gonna call
YouTube says
myself.
episode 2, episode 2.
Yeah, it's just all of them are episode 2.
Derp derp.
Well, it's fine.
So yeah,
I mean, I almost want to like save it for last, because I feel like it's so good. We should build up to it a little bit. So I'm gonna throw you a. I know. I'm gonna throw you a softball first, though. Um, I guess we start every we can't we don't even jump right into the news like when we do this. We start with what are you listening to? Da, 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 da. We have a format, and we're just like two excited little children trying to jump right into the topic at hand. So let's observe decorum. Um, what have you been listening to this last week?
uh, well, it was a bit of a rough start to the week. Hadn't really found anything on Bandcamp that really jumped out to me. And then I went to the Facebook group that we're both a part of that talks about all sorts of stupid metal.
Mm-hmm.
And I came across a band called Alkaloid and their latest release, Liquid Anatomy. That goes places.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
some of it's really good, and some of it I'm just not into. Um, Definitely worth a listen to. I will have a link to that in the chat just a moment. The other band, and the one that I've actually been listening to quite a bit, is, and I'm gonna butcher their name, and I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's like Replacire, Replacire, and their album Do Not Deviate. That's just a hard hitter from beginning to end.
I'll have to check that one out. The
That is some,
Alkaloid, I've checked those dudes out before, and yeah,
yeah, it goes places.
yeah, it's okay.
And then I dug into Beyond Creation a little bit. Didn't get too heavy into it. I get distracted by something else and just kind of listen to something else for a while.
So Beyond Creation is
for a while.
yeah, they're cool. I've been listening to them for a few years, and they are another one of those like bass heavy tech death bands. Um, just lots of fretwork from the bass player.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And just hear tons of groove tucked into all of the blast beats and like breakdowns and stuff. It's really cool. The
Yeah.
thing I don't think has ever made me connect with them more is for me I think the vocals end up kind of running together between each song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, and I know a lot of people who are like, "What? compared to some of the other stuff you listen to, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Shut up! I can. It just does.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried listening to them a bunch, and getting more into them. I like them a lot,
Hmm.
um, but they're not a band I'm super passionate about, I guess. It's
Right.
just one of those things where I'm just like, yeah, they're super good. I'm just not really passionate about liking them a
Hmm.
lot, you know?
Yep. And then I spent a good portion of today trying to decide where I want to buy my copy of Inanimate Existence's first album, Liberation Through Hearing. I don't know if I want to get just a straight up digital through Bandcamp or if I want to get the CD. Um, roughly the same amount of money, just whether I want it now or later.
Right.
That's just a fucking incredible album from start to end. And I think it might be, I think if they were to press it, it would definitely be a double LP.
Mm.
It's just enough content on there.
Right on.
And I like towards the end of it, there's a song, I believe it's Within Lucid Dreams, that's just a long um, instrumental. Just like no heavy chugga chuggas or, you know, blasting beats. It's just kind of chill instrumental.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. Like we said last week, I've really gotten into that band. They're super cool. Um, and that first record, honestly, like I've only mostly listened to Under a Melting Sky, even though I got, all three of those vinyls. It's
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know why my ear just keeps being drawn back to that one the most.
Yeah.
But yeah, I should make an effort to check out all their other stuff a little bit more and not be a pleb. Let's see. What the hell have I been listening to this last week? Um, just kind of more of the same. I've been digging a little bit into the back catalog of things. And then sleep, actually, there you go. There's something that's sort of new. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
really get enough time to listen to their new record on the old 420 there. So, I know it's been like more than a month. I finally like sat and listened to The Sciences is what it's called. And it's funny because I think I may have made mention of this before, but Sleep at this point, when they did their last record, Dope Smoker,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of the dudes in the band were as big individually as they are at this point now, where they, are doing the sciences. Matt Pike, is the guy, I think he's the main guitar player for High on Fire. And dude, that's a band right there, dude. They're fucking badass. And all the other members of Sleep, you know, I'd be hard pressed to name what they've all done individually without having to Wikipedia it, but
Right.
they've all done, similarly like badass things. And so now at this point, they're kind of like a mega group, made up of these dudes who, have all done individually super impressive things, and they all came back to make a record. It's like, wow, it's you can totally tell they're kind of a cut above. But science is just more of I hate to use the term more of the same because it
Mm-hmm.
almost seems like I'm putting it down, but I'm not. And by
Right.
saying that, I'm actually it's a high level of praise because Dope Smoker is one of my favorite things out there. Um, Takes a lot to kind of process, but this is
Yeah.
not on the same level as that. It's not just one big dumb song.
No hour-long songs here.
No,
The longest it goes is like 14 and a half minutes.
no, it's they're all you've got some songs. I saw some people complaining because they're saying like, well, some of these things are songs that Sleep has been playing live in one form or another over the years between Dope Smoker and this album, and it's like maybe that's true, but you finally
And that'll
have it.
happen too. Like it's finally pressed and available other than in a show.
Mm-hmm.
And I can respect
So,
that.
yeah, that's the way I think you should just kind of look at it if you're, you know, thinking to yourself, I've heard some of these songs before. Maybe, but at the same time, like I said, it's they finally have that stuff pressed out onto a record, so
Yeah,
enjoy it for what it is.
nice.
Um, yeah, otherwise, I can't say that I've had a whole lot of time to check out like much newer stuff, or
Yeah, you've had a busy week.
I really have.
Understatement.
Yeah,
Massive.
I really have. So, yeah, I mean, it's gonna probably be a more news-heavy show
Yeah.
than
Um.
last week or the weeks before.
Yeah. Speaking of news, a little quick little heads up. Pre-orders for Automated 2 by Between the Buried and Me went live. Snagged my copy. Got a split. It's purple and clear this time, which is going to be really cool to see.
Cool.
Um, Looking forward to seeing that. It's only 4 tracks. It's 3.5 maybe. One of them's just I'm guessing like a 3 minute kind of interlude between two songs. And then one of them's like 12 minutes long, I think. So, and that's like the starting song on this part of the album. So it's going to be pretty cool. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying when I was like, 4 songs, huh? 4 or 5 songs. I was like, well, then the shortest one is gonna be like fucking 15 minutes long. You're like, you're not wrong. 12.
It's close.
Yeah.
I mean, I hit Automata 1 hard. Um, I like where that goes. It's just kind of all over the place. And I've been bitten by the bug, so I just kind of put their stuff on and just do work.
Yeah, Between the Buried and Me is a, super talented band.
Good for
They're,
driving, good for working, good for chilling.
yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
Colors, man, that's a beast.
And see
Still,
that's one of the ones that kind of ranks a little lower with me, I think.
it's funny because
Not
that's like by far, that's everyone's favorite.
Yeah, like when that came out for repressing, people were like shitting themselves over it.
Mm-hmm.
And and I looked at it and was like, oh, maybe I should pick that up. And I listened to it, I was like, I don't really like it. And now I'm looking at it going like, I'm an idiot. I should have grabbed that.
Yeah, you're a crazy person, dude. Colors is a really, really good album. I mean, I don't like Between the Buried and Me on a level where I'm super passionate about them, but
Right.
I recognize and respect how good they are.
Yeah.
They're super talented. Um, yeah. Well, I'm really like I would say I'm looking forward to Automata, but Between the Buried and Me lately, I listened to their album like 2 or 3 times, and then I'm like, that was cool. And I just
Yeah.
kind of go back to my other stuff. It's like, again, I really like it when I'm listening to it. I just don't go out of my way to listen to them, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I just sort of lean more into dumber things, like an idiot. Let's see. Oh my good gravy. And Texas, dude, like, I'm doing a podcast.
Frig off.
That's funny. Um, so, you want to take it away with the news, Mr. Tulso?
Cool. Should we jump into the heavy stuff
Nah,
or kind of hit some of the other ones first?
let's start with the old summer slaughter.
Boy, that's a dumb lineup.
Yeah, it's not great. It's pretty silly.
I liked your comment on the one Facebook thread, and people just don't get it.
Oh yeah, no, I know. It's kind of sad. Um, yeah, summer slaughter is weird this year, to say the least. Uh, Summer Slaughter is almost always billed as like the heaviest tour of the year, and they stick bands in there that will melt your face off pretty fucking hard. Um, this year, I don't know that I could say that that was the intent, and if it was, then they are thinking about, a, maybe a different audience that, is listening to other stuff to melt their faces off.
That's possible.
I mean, Born of Osiris, Veil of Maya, Between the Buried and Me, which, Between the Buried and Me, they're not a bad band. But if you compare that to, like, last year, where it was like Dying Fetus, Black Dahlia Murder, Rings of
Right.
Saturn, Oceanu, you know, that to me is like more evocative of the kind of music they're trying to, the kind of music that represents like heavy and death metal, like community the most. But what do I know? You know, I guess
Yeah. That's why I don't promote metal tours
I don't
and
know.
book
The
them.
the
That's why I sell video
reaction
games.
the reaction seems to be pretty era. There, that's the other band, Terror Universal. Like, I don't know. Let's see,
I
Metal
don't recognize
Injection. The comments
any of the
are
names.
brutal on Metal Injection. The first comment: "What a shitty lineup. All metalcore. Welcome to the most extreme tour of the year." And then let's see. I get okay. Then the next comment down. Get this. Between the Buried and Me and Allegiant or metalcore. I get some of the people's distaste for gent, but that's not metalcore either. Do you know what metalcore is? Agree. Allegiance, Eruption, and Entheos, not metalcore at all. Da 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 da. This may be the worst lineup yet. Garbage lineup. This lineup is awful. Like, it's not exactly awful.
No, but it's
it,
not
it
what it's
just,
usually.
yeah, I don't think it's an awful lineup. I just think it's not. It's just a different tour this year. It's really strange to me.
A lot of tours this year are kind of weird. You know, call, say what you will about it, but I think Warp Tour is like a really odd mix this year too. For one that I usually associated with like pop punk bands and stuff, there's surprisingly a bunch of metalcore bands in there.
Yeah, they've been doing that in like the last five five years or so with Warp Tour.
Is this the
Because
last one?
August, yeah, I think so. August Burns Red has been on Warp Tour a couple of times now,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, huh. But it's weird because I don't know many people who listen to them. Like, you were the first person I've talked to in a long time who's like, I know who they are. I'm like, really?
Yeah, I more so listen to ABR because they're local. Like they're out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which
Mm.
is a half an hour down the road from me. Like they grew up at the Chameleon Club, which is one of the only venues I go to anymore.
Right, and I heard really good things about their record last year.
Mm. Yeah, last one was pretty great.
What was it called?
Um, drawing a blank here. Invisible Enemy, or no, that was the album name, or the one of the songs.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, Phantom Anthem. That's it.
Phantom Anthem, that's right. Yeah, I mean,
They
it's
play a
weird.
tight show live.
Yeah, I feel like they're really popular, and I don't know where the people are that listen to them.
Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
I guess so. It must be like they must be like a very middle of America huge kind of a band, or I'm just ignorant and stupid and don't, you know, understand that there's a lot of fucking people that listen to,
Mm.
ABR. Because I go onto their YouTube and shit, and their YouTube videos have like millions of views sometimes, and I'm
Oh
like,
yeah,
really? That's interesting to me, But then, like I said, I don't running into people that listen to them is very rare for me. But
yeah. I
but
don't know. Maybe it's a East Coast West Coast thing because like I've talked to some people out there that don't know who they are.
mm,
So I don't
yeah,
know.
it might be. I mean, they're a good band.
Yeah.
Like you said, that's another one. I get this week. It's just the bands that I'm like, yeah, they're cool. I just don't really, I don't know, don't really have a connection. I feel like Born of Osiris is kind of one of those bands. They're okay.
I heard of them. I can't say I've listened to anything.
They have electronic elements
All right.
in their songs. Um, they are. they're,
I saw one comment saying that it's a bunch of like Pro Tools bands, like sound samples and
um,
stuff.
I get what they're
The
saying. It,
the the
they
brief,
mean that in a derogatory way. But I guess
yeah,
yeah, they're all the bands that are performing are very like there's a lot of that stuff in their music. Between the Buried and Me, to their credit, I think Tommy goes up there and actually plays a keyboard.
yeah, like that's a full band playing like all their instruments kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This one sounds. I had to see them like performing live or something to see, because the drums sound like super tight to the point where they almost sound kind of fake, I guess.
Mm.
Maybe like an
Like
electronic drum kit kind of deal.
in Theos, Allegion, Born of Osiris, and Veil of Maya, I know for sure all use some element of some kind of, electronic effects or pedals or
Right.
samples or something like that. I just saw in Theos and Allegion though in March with Rings, so I don't have a whole lot of motivation to go to Summer Slaughter this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you were pretty excited about it last year.
Oh yeah, that was a good lineup last year. This year it sucks a lot. I mean, like I said, it just sucks for Summer Slaughter for what it's supposed to be. If this was
Mm.
anything else, or maybe just had a different name, or I think there'd be a lot of people who weren't as confused. But I think a lot of dudes uh, associate
The
the
name of
Summer
something
Slaughter,
more.
yeah, more death metal, slaughter, death metal. I don't know. And Veil of Maya, with all due respect to them, as good of a band as they are, I wouldn't consider them death metal, like at all.
No, not with their latest release.
No, their lyrics are way too introspective and uplifting. They're legitimately positive, and I'm
You
like,
can't be death metal. You're too happy.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, you're not a death metal band. You're actually happy about things. That's not how this works. Get out of here.
Your videos
Um,
take place in the sunlight.
yeah. And Between the Buried and Me is just they're they're not a death metal band. You know, they're
No,
just not
that's
like at all. They are something completely fucking different. I have no idea how they ended up here. I mean, I guess because they probably money. They're headlining,
yeah,
and they're like, here, we'll pay you this much to headline this tour, and they're like, cool, whatever.
yeah. I mean, it's also kind of coincides with their album release, Automated 2. That
Yeah,
drops like July 13th, and that's like right smack in the middle of the tour.
sure. I, yeah, I think that's gonna be a weird crowd,
Yep.
a very very strange crowd. You're gonna go in there, and there's gonna be like a couple of. That's the other thing is it's mostly gonna be like scene sort of crowd where it's like
Yep.
you've got Born of Osiris kids, Veil of Maya kids, and then the Era kids. And Era is kind of yeah. I mean, Era, Born, and Veil are all more like on the gent side of
Yeah.
things.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, so you've got the geeky metalheads coming out, and then Between the Buried and Me is all just like music theory nerds. So
Yeah.
you know, and then weirdos like me who are just like, I like death metal, but for some reason this band, it's like, you idiot.
This band scratches an itch. I don't know
hmm
why.
And I think that
Um.
might be where they thought there'd be some crossover with like the Legion and Entheos and Surreption people,
Yeah, it's
but
possible.
Terror Universal and Agony scene, I don't know. They just, I think they're just metalcore, whatever, deathcore, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it. They're just trying to be heavy breakdown music. So
Yep.
cool.
I need people to fill out the roster. Um. Speaking of weird,
Hmm.
a band with a genre that's impossible to tack down because their music is so weird. System of a Down self-titled album turns 20 years old.
It sure does. And that's exactly how old my cynicism and no, it just makes me feel old. It's a
Yeah, it
trip.
does.
Yeah. System of a Down's debut album is gonna turn 20 this year. Fucking A.
Which is crazy because that would make me like 10 years old
Wow.
when
I
this
hate
album
you
came out.
so much.
I didn't pick them up until Toxicity. Uh, that was like high school, but I quickly turned around and came back to this one, and pretty great. It's, again, not to sound in a negative way, it's a little more of the same. It's weird, it's bombastic, it's loud, it's
Yeah,
fucking great.
it set the tone for the kind of whatever the hell it is that they were gonna.
Future of the band.
Yeah. And again, never has been, and I don't think ever will be, a bunch of weirdos like those weirdos.
No,
Um, the kind of music that they make is impossible to classify.
yep,
I've
we've
briefly
tried.
talked about this a few times, and I don't know that we'll ever figure out what they are, but I know that they're not new metal
Nope,
or mallcore.
nope.
So that was a fun couple of weeks. Um, there, yeah, System of a Down just kind of showed up and decided they were just gonna do whatever the fuck they wanted to do, and
Hey fuckers, listen to this. Blam.
yeah, and so different than literally everything else in such a big way
Mm,
that it still to this day stands completely out as bonkers. There's you want to tell yourself you hear elements of other things in there, um, like that you can tie back to. You're like, oh, I hear some of this band, or I hear some of this, or I hear some of that.
right.
And honestly, no, you don't really. You hear somebody who grew up like it's like he snuck Slayer tapes in. I swear to God, I've said this a few times, and I'm like, if you've ever listened to Middle Eastern music or
Mm,
Turkish music or like Armenian music, anything like that, it's
mm,
got like it's a totally different experience. The way that they're writing music, is just a 180 from what you or I would be used to.
yep.
So you imagine if like the majority of the time that's what you're listening to, like 90% of the fucking time, and then you're sneaking into your room to fucking jam like Slayer and like Metallica tapes, and like I think he was saying he would listen to Napalm Death, and that's
Hmm.
where he had this idea to write these very, very, very fast guitar riffs. Is from listening to really extreme death metal shit like that,
Oh yeah.
and then running it through this filter of Middle Eastern influence in music and trying to keep that like pace and that tempo, and the byproduct is something that's like almost completely extraterrestrial to anything else that was being created at the time.
Oh yeah.
And still to this day, I don't think there's any band that sounds remotely like them. You can kind of maybe say that early Mudvayne was like in that
Mm,
ballpark of weird, goofy, crazy,
oh yeah.
you
Definitely like
know.
the weird kind of out there,
Hmm.
out there sound. I don't know if they kind of they overlapped any more than that though.
Yeah, no, because that frenetic pace, that like hyperactivity
I
that could
fucking dug it back in
dude,
the day, and even now it's still a great album to go back and listen to.
that song Bounce,
Hmm.
Jesus. I mean, you
Psycho off of Toxicity.
yeah, I mean everything that they've done is just brimming with energy, you know.
Hmm.
But all good things must come to a no money. So
I think I'd be okay if they stopped. I don't think after what they've done that they can really come back and recreate it, especially since they've a lot of them have gone off and done their own things.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think that you have
I don't
much
think
to
they want
worry
to
about.
either.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think they want to do it.
Serge is off doing poetry, which is cool.
Sure.
That weird guitarist is off doing other stuff too.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, Scars on Broadway is. It's like any of those
it's
things
something.
with any of those bands, dude. They all go off, and every individual member does their own individual thing, and all of it's neat, but it's never the same.
Nope.
Sturge has done what, 2 albums on his own now, and he even tried to do a thing where he played with an orchestra and all of that stuff, and I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad you've written independent material and everything else, and I think he knows it'll it'll never be the same. Like, they were a platinum selling band.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's crazy. They were selling millions of copies of CDs, you know. And they were one of those bands that got to be in that last era of stuff of like, you are actually selling fucking CDs and millions
Yeah.
of them, like platinum.
Before the digital thing took off.
Hmm. And in that last wave of like metal being like on the top 10, you know,
Hmm.
in some way, form, or another. So, more power to them in that moment in time.
Yep.
1998 was a magical time and place.
Christ, that was so long ago.
Yeah, I know. Ain't it grand?
It's only gonna get worse as we get older.
Probably. I don't know. I mean, it's funny because it's like I thought, oh yeah, in 20 years the planet's gonna be this and that, and it's like it's just all awful. It's
Yeah.
all terrible.
Yeah. And
Everyone is
I
terrible.
don't mean to keep like taking the stories and kind of spinning them off with a segue, but as you get older, people you adore and people you look up to musically and you know acting or whatever, they begin to pass away. And this past week marked the 1 year anniversary of Chris Cornell taking his life,
Yep,
and
sure did.
numerous bands dedicated shows to his memory. Um, that was a tough one. That hit me pretty hard last year.
Yeah,
His voice is incredible, and you know, one of those one in a millions.
it was so
Um,
weird because it was like around last week. That's when it kind of clicked back in. I was on YouTube and came across a Soundgarden song actually, and I was listening to it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm so glad they got
it's just
back
like,
to
oh,
get.
bummer.
Aw. And like
Yeah.
literally, that's how fast that all seemed like it was.
Yep.
I know it's been a few years or a couple years now, like all things considered, but life moves fast, especially as you get older.
Yeah.
Like things kind of run together, and to me, it's like I now understand when people say things like, "Man, it just seemed like just yesterday that they got back together, and
Yeah.
he's just gone." It's like really did feel like that.
Yeah.
It was not that long ago where it's like Soundgarden's back together. They did another album. What?
Yeah.
I think it was 2012, 2013,
Yeah.
somewhere in
It was
there.
all right.
Yeah, I mean, it was
It
good. It wasn't, ever
they
gonna.
tried something new. So
The thing was, I thought it was competent. I don't think it was ever gonna be.
right. Right.
They're not 20 anymore, right? So their perspective has changed and things have matured a little bit, and yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good record. But
Um. Yeah. I was happy to pick up the side A's set that they put out for Record Store Day this year.
mm,
I got like one of 3 copies that showed up at the local record store. Um, and that's a damn good pressing. It's the first time that album's been put out on vinyl uh, since its release in '97, I think it was.
oh wow,
Yeah, because I tried looking it up to see like what was on the album, and it was hard to come across. Like it wasn't on Spotify, and I had to go looking for it to see what it was. And I was like, oh, it's a compilation from back in '97. It was only released on CD.
Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff from back then where it's like,
But there's some stuff on there I don't know. The first like side A has a bunch of stuff that's before I got into them. You know, it's some of the deeper cuts. Um, and then the last couple songs are some of the weird ones they did. Um, what's the name of the song? Oops, that's not it. Good old Dead Air.
mm,
um, yeah, it's not like Ty Cobb. I think the name of the song. It's real out there. It's not really something you kind of tie with Soundgarden, but it was just a single they had put out there and decided to throw it into this mix.
right on.
But yeah,
And
it's
you
a
dig
good
it?
album. It's worth picking up if you can find it.
How much did it run you?
I think it was like $35.
It's not too bad.
It's a double LP gatefold. The vinyl is colored if that means anything to you. The one is like a dark green, and the other is a kind of a grass green.
Come with any extras, like a little book or anything like that?
Um, there were a couple inserts with some pictures of the bands from the years, and then a digital download for it.
Right on. Word.
Which the promotion for that didn't start until like a month after the album came out.
Hmm. That seems odd.
Every day I check in on it, like, nope, still doesn't work yet.
That's fucking
So
weird. Activate those download links, people.
yeah,
Get that shit going.
dummies.
What a bunch of dorks. Huh.
So
Right on. Well, yeah, to me, like I said, it's just kind of surreal. You know, it's like, huh. And I remember, after it happened, it was just sort of a shock to the system. You know, because I guess we as people are naive and we assume or we imagine that, you know, someone's just completely fine. Like,
hmm
oh yeah, they're fine. They're famous and everybody
yeah, nothing
respects
can
them
go
and
wrong.
everything. Yeah, exactly. How could anything be wrong with that person at all? They have everything I could want. That's the key, you know. They have
Yeah,
everything I could want. It's like, but you don't know what they want. You know, and their wants and their needs and all of those things are different than what you are, than what you create in your head for them. You know what I mean?
yeah, you don't know what demons they wrestle with.
Right, exactly. So then, we're so like naive and ignorant and shocked and just like, oh fuck, but we don't know these people. We don't know
Yeah,
them at all. They don't know us, So it's just sort of a thing where we're just looking through a fucking, set of binoculars at the little bits and pieces of their life that we get access to.
yeah,
It's just always a reminder that they're people. Everybody's a person.
yep.
So
Um,
I don't know, man. I guess on that note, we should talk about. I'm not gonna do a good segue. I just want to do a shitty one and get it out of the way. I want to talk about a group of people. Talk about a group of people that I talked about last week,
and the
and
week before,
or the week before. Was it the week before?
that was both.
Was it? It was both.
Yes.
Okay, to catch you guys up on the saga, I talked at I don't know, medium to small length about Core 10 and just some of their trials and tribulations on the old internets, as it were.
Uh huh.
And I feel like I'm responsible for what I'm about to read right
What a
now
dick.
because I said some things where I don't feel like I was being negative. I just think that I was being very honest in saying that they are making a kind of music for a certain type of audience that I think, is not me, right? And I respect what they're doing, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to listen to new metal and want to listen to like all of those bands.
There are people that want to listen
From
to this.
There's
We
people
are
that want
not
to
two of
listen
them.
to Edema in 2018. Let's just put
Ugh.
it that way. Edema books shows. I found this out.
Really? They're
Yes,
still a thing?
they still play music, and what's interesting is they're actually like from Orange County, I guess,
Hmm.
which is
Yeah,
where
it's
my
like
mom lives.
Jonathan Davis's little brother, I think.
Yeah, so it's like Huntington Beach, Newport. So that's where they play like a lot of their shows is Orange County cities, and
Mm.
people go out to see them, man. So sorry, my neighbors are pulling in and rocking the stereo as they roll in. Damn, playing those slow jams. Um, yeah, there are people that still pay money to see Edema. And look, dude, I'm not fucking making fun of any of those people. I'm not making fun of Edema. I'm not making fun of any of it. I'm just saying that, like, I'm not one of those people,
Yeah.
right? Like, at all. That's not the thing I want to do with my time or my money.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and Core 10, oddly enough, played with Edema on one of those nights. These are how I know these things, right? Because I
Yeah.
I liked the Core 10 Facebook page because I wanted to be kept abreast of their comings and goings in the music world. And
And you missed the biggest part of it all.
I guess I did. Apparently, via their Facebook, they said, for those of you who haven't heard yet, Core 10 has decided to disband pending further notice. It was a fun year, and we all have parted ways as friends. They misspelled friends. Thank you again for your support during our run. Please continue to follow all the members in their new endeavors. The band's
Ah.
drummer, David Silveria, bassist Chris Durame, guitarist Joe Tabak, and Bobby Thomas are putting together a new band and are currently seeking a new vocalist. They issued the following call for that. David Silveria and company move forward. New Orange County, California based band featuring David Silveria alongside bassist Chris Durant, guitarist Joe Tabak, and Bobby Thomas begin singer search. Not really great at writing press releases here. We're
Nope.
officially announcing that we're seeking a new vocalist to front this new outfit and have already heard from some very talented people. We want this opportunity to hear from more of you out there, so we're setting up a way to do just that. If you think you have what it takes to front this band, record, and tour, we would love to hear from you. Vocal tracks must be submitted along with bio, photos, and videos available showcasing you and your talent for consideration. This new band and singer search stems from the implosion in our previous band we all were in together. We're moving on for numerous reasons that are both business and personal. With that being said, we all are looking forward to creating, writing, and playing shows together with new songs and a great front man. The
Oh, so I'm only gonna
band
have one this time.
the band is
They're
currently in
doing
the
what
early
everyone told them to do.
pre-production stages of writing their debut album with 3 songs ready to go. The current
Jesus.
songs are crushing, heavy, and also melodic with David's signature groove. But keep in mind, there are no musical boundaries for us. We write what we feel, what we enjoy playing, and are rising above in 2018. Interested parties, please submit your information to singersubmission2018 at gmail.com.
Great. I'll just get it over with and bring Jonathan Davis back in.
Look, I don't know what, you know, they're talking about in terms of an implosion, but I can only assume that
The PRP did it.
yeah, I assume that it pertains to the guy that I know, um, who is, I guess now at this point, their previous singer, which is a fellow by the name of Sean, or Shawn Michael. I don't know what he prefers to
Hmm.
be called. Shawn Michael Lenoff was their previous singer. So I don't know what the falling out here is or was. Um, but it's funny because, like, without trying to be a fucking douchebag, last week when I was reading the comments for, the song that they had posted, the majority of the things that people were complaining about, like on one like level or another, was the singing.
Yeah,
And I was just like,
boy, the singing.
I don't. Again, I think the singing for a lot of bands is dumb.
Uh
Like,
huh.
so I fucking think that I'm a bad judge of that shit, where I'm like, I don't like this or I don't like that, and those bands are very popular. I'm not gonna like say what those bands are, because then like I won't fucking ever, like, eventually someone will find these obscure like beginning episodes when we finally get popular in like episode 2376, and it like cracks, and then someone will go back and listen to the other 2000 something episodes, and they'll be like, dude, I found out on episode fucking 4 that you said that you hated Mozart. I'll be like, yeah, maybe. I'm really sorry. Um,
Episode 2, parentheses 4.
so I thought that like maybe, okay, I just don't get the singing, right? Maybe it's just not for me. I'm a bad judge of fucking singing. And I read comments, and like everyone was just like, "Oh man, this singing fucking sucks. The singer's terrible." And I was like, "Damn, people are ruthless." And I don't know. I can't. I don't want to think that the internet got a singer fired, or that like they resulted in the band having a conversation with the singer and being like, "Dude, everybody says you suck." Um, yeah,
This
but
is why
like
there's an intervention.
I also know, and this is a true fucking thing. Sean, at one point, I think he has an account on the PRP. It's not very hard to get a Discus account and go on there and comment with people. It's really easy. And the
Yeah.
singer at the time went on to there and was kind of replying to a lot of people on the like first few articles about them. And his replies to people were not were not like very polite. He was letting people know exactly how he felt. And
Yeah.
people were being assholes and shit, as they are on
It's
the
the internet.
internet. Yeah, but you know, don't don't go in the swamp. Don't do it. Don't go in there, and because you're gonna turn into one of the swamp monsters too.
Yep.
And Sean went into the swamp, and yeah,
Gun got eaten by a gator.
I just feel like maybe all of
Gator called the
these
internet.
things come together, and I just hope that none of that is the case. I hope it was just some good old fashioned rock and roll shit where like Sean punched David in the face or something. He was like, "I'm sick of you, man. You've got a fucking tattoo of some other band, and we told you to get your corn tattoo removed and put Core 10 on your right ass cheek, or I beat the shit out of you, and you didn't do it. So now I have to kick your ass." And he was like, "Fuck you, man. You're out of the band. I'm fucking throwing these drumsticks at you like katanas, bro." Then he threw a fucking, set of drumsticks at him, picked up like a Zildjian symbol and fucking frisbeed it at his face. And he's like,
I'm
"Fuck
just
you,
I'm just
I'm out
laughing
of here."
going back through the the other news articles about them.
Dude, people are
I love
ruthless.
I love that one of their ringing endorsements is our truth from the WWE.
Our truth from the WWE?
No,
What?
our truth. Ron Killings,
Uh huh.
a wrestler
Uh huh.
who
Ron
has had
Killings?
various hip hop personalities.
Okay. Not
Um,
not fully aware, but go on.
yeah, so that's about it.
That
He
was one of the
apparently
people who
loved it.
really dug their
Yep.
their stuff, was
Yep.
Ron Killings from the
Mm-hmm.
WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a legitimate music critic. I mean, hey, dude, if you found your audience, more power to you. But I guess you didn't. So I
I
don't
can
know.
see maybe Corten appealing to the wrestling community. Now I'm gonna piss them off. It's like
Dude,
a lot of
if
the music
the
that the
people
wrestling
who
community
buy,
gets
yeah,
behind is fucking
the
horrible.
the WWE records, I know exactly the kind of people you're talking about. I had a few friends, in my
Yeah,
like mid 20s, who were very, very, very into WWE,
the
and they
people
would
that
buy
showed
the
up on record store
CDs.
day to
Yeah,
buy
To
the
buy
fucking
WWE LPs. Yeah.
no, who was it? Uh, Pop Evil.
Pop Evil.
Don't look them up. They're terrible.
I don't want to.
But that's like Nickelback level butt rock.
Oh, okay.
But those kind of people most likely liked or enjoy WWE content.
Yeah, no, I had a friend who had like a lot of the WWE CDs.
I won't lie, I had some of the older ones, like back when it was straight up just entrance music because I played with wrestling figures as a kid. You know.
Oh, the truth comes out. You're like, I bought some wrestling music CDs myself.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I'm not gonna. You were judgy there for a moment, and then the truth came out. Man. I didn't have any wrestling music CDs. I think I had some entrance theme MP3s in the early days of Napster.
Hmm.
You know, where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna walk to the liquor store and fucking
To the
pretend
tune
I'm
of Stone Cold Steve
Triple
Austin.
H. Yeah, like, because I'm an idiot and I'm 14. You know,
I got the new Disturbed cover of Steve Austin's theme song.
yeah, like I'm listening to Disturbed. Society's not ready for me, Mom and Dad.
Uh,
Ah, yeah. Well, that's a good segue, I guess, from
that, there, there goes a bit of our enjoyment every week
yeah. I mean,
for those guys.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself now.
Show's over, everybody. We
Yeah.
can't make photo quartet anymore.
I feel bad for the PRP. It's a big loss for them, really. It just seemed like their currency for a while was just like articles fucking bombing on Core 10 so that all the PRP users could just be like, "Oh boy, gotta
uh,
get those comment engines running, dog." This
What's
one's
my
gonna
top 10
shine.
shit post gonna be today?
Yeah, no shit, dude. It was just like getting some of those, like I said, dude. Some of those roasts, some of those burns are
Are
just
fucking
they're
beautiful.
fucking they're. You know, I feel bad because I'm like, if I was the person who was reading this, I'd be fucking mad, dude. But like, holy
Yeah,
shit,
no
that's.
doubt. I'd be destroyed if I was reading this kind of stuff about us. But at the same time,
Yeah, when someone's like, can somebody tell him that socks don't go on his hands? I was like, damn it, dude. You know, like, it's just the little things. It's the little
yeah,
things. Fuck. Well, like I said, um,
I got another bad transition.
Oh, I was going to talk about, speaking of shitty adolescent things that you used to do, mallcore. But go on.
Oh, it's a quick little topic from shit posts to shitheads. Apparently, the drummer from Intronautas left the band after allegations of domestic abuse. Don't do that, people. It's horrible. Be nice. Love one another.
Yeah, I kind of, in a roundabout way, know of those dudes in my life in some capacity. I don't want to say I know them, just
Yeah.
they're acquaintances. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Long and short,
mean,
don't do that.
you know, you got to sort some shit out in your life. So I guess they're gonna. It sucks because he's a really good drummer.
Yeah.
I was just talking about them the other week and how they're really in the pocket all the time. Really sick drummer, really sick bass player. So I just hope that they're able to find somebody who's got like that same kind of jazzy.
Energy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's he had a lot of style. It's weird because a lot of bands they change drummers, and I'm like, eh. You know, like if Black Dahlia Murder got a new drummer, I don't know that I'd be as concerned because it's Trevor and the one guitar player who really like write the majority of the music, and
Hmm.
then they have had a huge rotating cast of people in there over the
Right.
years. But with Intronaut, I think their drummer was pretty crucial to a lot of their sound
Hmm.
because he very stylistic. So yeah, I mean, that dude's got to figure some shit out for his fucking life. He's people around him have to figure some stuff out. Obviously, Intronaut already did because yeah, they fired
He
his
done
ass.
gone.
Yeah. So
So
bad
yeah,
times in
Malcore.
Intronaut High. Mallcore. Yes. 'tis the year 2005, if I'm correct,
Yep.
right? Yeah. And this is gonna be the
A
final
doozy.
year, the final year of Malcore, because 2006 we have determined is officially the start of the age of metalcore.
Hmm.
So let's see what 2005 brings us in heavy metal music. God bless it. Yeah, this is definitely. It's funny because, yeah, I'm looking at it right now and you can already tell.
Yeah, some of the bands popping up.
Yep, it was happening. I mean, so just to give you guys an idea of this weird transition period we were in with the mallcore shifting over into the metalcore, kind of era. In the same year that you have Mudvayne with Lost and Found, which is, ugh, that's some serious ass mallcore right there.
Yeah,
And
I will admit I still enjoyed that album, but it was very different from their older stuff.
hell yeah, it was. You still had Static X doing stuff.
Yeah.
Corn with See You on the Other Side, which is just
Oh
like,
boy.
oof. That's a weird one.
Oh yeah,
And
that
then you
album.
have Fear Factory, Transgression, which is not, it's not my favorite.
No, I gave up on them after a certain album. It just wasn't quite the same.
Then you have 10,000 Fists, which is like one of the most mallcore records ever.
Yeah, I remember the videos for that. Uh, and I think I can name two or three people I went to high school with that had like that album cover on a sweater or like a sweatshirt or something.
Oh yeah, where it's just like the edgy looking like little like spirit dudes with their angry eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. But then, in this same year that you have Chimera's self-titled, and again, just all these super core releases, you have Children
Oh
of
hell yeah.
Bodom with Are You Dead Yet? You have Black Dahlia Murder with their first really fucking solid, great record, Miasma. You have As I Lay Dying with Shadows Are Security, which, Anyway, then you have you have Dimmu Borgir, you have Enslaved with Issa, which is a really great record. Gojira from Mars to Sirius, which is just an infinitely great record.
Which one's that?
Gojira, Mars to Sirius. And then
Okay, yeah.
Trivium, Ascendancy. So like there's a lot of really, really, really great straight up heavy metal and
Yeah.
death metal that's coming out in 2005. Where you can see like metalcore and deathcore just breathing down the neck of all the mallcore bands, and
Yeah.
all that stuff is just starting to wear thin. You know, I don't think that there. It's like this year, this last year of it is tough to say that there's a good mallcore release because most of those bands are starting to lose thunder and they were producing some stuff that was not as good as like their first couple of records.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, just looking at like some of the albums that you didn't mention, the ones that I listened to, uh, that kind of signify like the starting of the metalcore, like Throwdown, their album Vendetta. That's some metalcore ass metalcore.
mm,
Um, that was a big one. Oh look, Mesmerized and Hypnotized came out that year.
yep,
That signified a big change for System of a Down.
yeah, and we've talked about this. Not really
Yeah,
mallcore.
yeah, no, but
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a much more you can see it's a much more heavy metal year.
mhm.
Dude, High on Fire, Hate Eternal, like these are more the bands that like I like, where I'm like, yeah, now we're getting there. Now we're
Yeah,
fucking getting there. And like the year after was, where honestly I got because I only started getting into some of this stuff, a few years after these records have been released, and I was only
Yeah.
listening to it because of things like Lamb of God and Killswitch Engage and Shadows Fall, and those bands put out their biggest things, in the years right after like all this stuff. So, you know, you can totally see it becomes a much more heavy metal year.
Yeah.
If you had to pick, Mr.
Uh,
Tombstone.
a best one's gonna be tough to pick. I will admit that off the bat. I don't have a best uh ready to go. Um, Worst I can probably say is City of Evil, Avenged Sevenfold.
Hmm.
That's some that's some mallcore ass stuff.
Yeah.
Especially with it getting beaten into everyone's head later on with Backcountry and Beast and the Harlot and yeah, those songs getting included in like the Guitar Hero games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's up there. Um, Star Wars pretty not good.
No, the Static X album.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah. Uh,
I know you
yeah,
like Lost and Found. I'm not a fan. I'm not.
that's all right.
I'm not a fan. I think we might, actually have like our first maybe big split in decision here. Like eh, it it was so different that it like actually made me kind of annoyed. I was like, I get that you guys want to try different things, but you're starting to become like in my mind they were trying to be way too radio friendly,
Yeah, they definitely went down that path.
where it was like that's over, dudes. Like the radio's done. You guys were lucky enough to be like on the radio at a weird time where all that was still super important, but
Mhm.
everything's shifting. So stop giving a shit about that. And they were still like on a label, so they probably still owed their label like a bunch of money, and the label was pressuring them to, keep selling more, and they just kept being this band of like diminishing returns.
Yeah,
Because Lost and
yeah.
Found sold less. I think their
Checking out,
LD50
say
was the
checking out
thing
the
that
singles for
sold the
that.
most, right?
Yeah, oh definitely. I
Now
was
I'm
like
gonna.
checking out their singles for that album. Like Happy was the only one that really charted on the radio, and that's the only one I can think I remember hearing on the radio.
I can't even remember the songs from that record. I just remember not liking it. It's the one with the kid, right? And the tornado on the cover.
I don't know if I've seen the video. Oh, the album cover, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I just remember the album cover.
You know, it never dawned on me that's what that is. I never
Did you think
didn't
it
know
was
that's a
just like
tornado
a
coming towards him.
like
I
a,
just thought he was standing in some shitty basement.
it's a tornado, dude. Standing in a shitty basement.
Shut up.
Fuck, dude. Oh boy. Um.
Womp womp.
Yeah. No. And that like I think that they were being pushed to make music that was a little bit more accessible, and that's not what you want to do when you're a band that does LD50. Make weirder shit, dude.
Yeah.
If anything. I still think they are a band that could have been a lot fucking better had they just never been signed.
Mm,
Like
yeah,
if
and then sometimes that happens to bands.
yeah, if they would have just figured out how to do the periphery thing where they would have just like self-produced and gotten access to really good
Ah,
like recording
back then that
tools.
was damn near impossible.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, they were in that weird transition. There are a few bands that have made it out of that, and been fortunate, but there's a lot more that
Yeah.
just didn't. Um, it's odd. I know what I'm gonna pick though for my favorite for that year. It's gonna be surprising.
All right.
Limp Bizkit, The Unquestionable Truth, Part One.
I don't think I've ever listened to anything on this album at all. I didn't
It's
even know it existed.
it's it is like the
Straight
most
up.
left field thing ever. Like in so many respects. I remember when it came out and I was like on the internet and I'm like, huh, that seems like a joke. Because it didn't have like hardly any promotion. And then
Yeah.
you check it out, and I swear to you, it's like a completely different thing than all the other Limp Bizkit stuff up until that point in time. Like it's really stripped
Did
down,
did
you
they ever
know.
put out part two?
No, they never did. They said they
So
were
I
gonna
see
put
here
out a part two.
in early 2012, a band revealed they were planning to release a sequel
Yeah.
titled Part Two, but I don't see anything of saying it ever came out.
No, I never did.
That's great.
I mean, come on. What did
Could it be the next Chinese democracy?
there was never gonna be a part two. There was never gonna be a part two. You know, when they're like, "We're gonna do a part two," I'm like, "Sure you are, kids." that's that's a nice thought. You know,
Yeah.
like that was never gonna happen. No, it's has no right to be as good as it is. It's just one of those things. You listen to it and you're like, "The fuck? Like this is stripped down and super raw," and he's like mad. Like I don't get it. Like what happened? And
I'll have
it's
to look into it.
yeah, like I said, I don't think you were ready for me to be like, actually, it's Limp Bizkit
Biscuits not that
this
bad.
year. It's really good.
All right, I will add that to a playlist and listen to it tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's not, the most intellectual music ever. Like if you're going into it like expecting something smart and clever. Actually, there's a few points where it's slightly clever, which is I
Hmm.
guess again legitimately surprising, but it's like that's what new metal was supposed to sound like. Was
Right.
is that record? And it's like that's when it sounds like when the rapping thing is done in a way that doesn't make you want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I still say this. I know there's a lot of people who are like, nah, dude, it's never coming back. I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's still a band that could do rap and heavy metal in a way that's not completely disgusting. And I don't think anyone still has totally figured it out yet. I hold
Um.
to that. The only time that there has ever been a song that has been that pure to where it could, you know, qualify as a feather in an angel's wing is the Run DMC and Aerosmith song "Walk This Way." That's the only song. Otherwise, I don't think, there's anything that's really quite nailed it just like that.
Yeah.
No one can lie either. You put that song on, there's nobody who can find anything wrong with it. I'm
No,
just
that's
like,
like perfection right there.
it is. You put that song on, you're like, do you have an issue with this? And I'm like, no. Then you turn to your friend who's like a complete metalhead. You're like, you have an issue with this? He's like, no. Then you look in the other side of the room, at like some idiot like me, and I'm wearing like a fucking Black Dahlia Murder Ever Black shirt. And like, how about you? You got? I'm like, I got nothing wrong with this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm okay
Yeah.
with this. Everyone's okay with it. It's fine. So
Uh,
let me see. What's my vote for the worst? While you figure out your best.
see, I'm curious. I'm not sure if what I'm leaning towards is mallcore or if that's metalcore for next year or for 2006. I mean,
Hmm. What is it?
Ascendancy by Trivium.
Oh, that's definitely metalcore
Okay,
for sure. Yeah.
good album. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it is.
And then they fell apart. Anyway,
Well,
I didn't like anything past that album.
Shogun's really
It
good.
it felt way too different.
Shogun before Ascendancy?
No, it's after
Yeah. Shogun's really good.
Ascendancy, Crusade, and then Shogun.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever.
I like Shogun a lot. It's a guilty pleasure of mine is Vengeance Falls.
Never heard of them.
No, it's a Trivium album.
No.
Yeah. It's just it's very radio ready, but I'm like, yeah, let's drink some Coors Light and listen to that Trivium record.
Well, listen to it next week.
Yeah, no doubt. I think I'm gonna go with what you said. I think it's Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. Cause like you said, just got sick of hearing it. You know, God, and talk about like the absolute definition of mallcore. They basically sold their costume at Hot Topic. Everything
Yeah,
Avenged Sevenfold was at Hot Topic. It was
them
all
and
there.
Papa Roach.
Don't
But
want
that's a conversation for next week.
for another time.
I don't have a best mallcore for this year.
Well,
I can't think of one.
what's your honorable mention then?
I don't know.
It's all
Like I said,
pretty
everything I'm
bad.
looking at, I'm like, it's all metalcore, and I'm like, I'm really looking forward to 2006 and stuff.
Yeah. Well, we're not really gonna get to talk about 2006 because metalcore will have to wait for another M month. We're doing Gent next.
Jet June.
Yep, we sure are.
Don't. Never mind the D.
It's in. Yeah, no.
It's a horrible alliteration.
Let's see. Nothing? You got nothing?
I got nothing. Everything I'm looking at is metalcore.
All right. Static X, Corn,
Nah, I didn't like that
Maureen.
album. Looking at See You on the Other Side, and I can only think of like 2 or 3 songs on there that I'm like, yeah, I could listen to that, I guess.
Fear Factory.
Didn't like that album.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's rough that year. Chimera.
I mean,
The self-titled's
yeah,
not bad.
it's like I fully enjoy that album. I will not deny that.
I mean, in a year of crap, maybe that might be what you have to settle for. Yeah, you just gonna go with Chimera because
Yeah,
what
I
else is
guess.
there? All right. I understand that because if you would have been like actually Disturbed, I'd have been like, and we're ending the podcast forever.
No, that was a pretty bad album.
Disturbed has never put out a good one. Let me say that as a theory to everybody here, America. I don't care what your opinion is. Disturbed has never put out a good album. You may think that they did, but you're a
There's some good
silly
covers.
person. Shh, boy. Anyway, thank you for tuning in and letting us take up 13 extra minutes of your time this week. We will be back next week, the same bat channel, same bat place, talking about the same bat metal. So, from myself and Mr. Tulsa, remember next week we are doing the best of the best and the worst of the worst of Malcore May to shut the month down.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because
So,
we didn't plan this out very well and forgot there's more weeks in May than we have planned for.
yeah, it kind of worked out though, because I'm gonna have fun then picking from all of the stuff that we've kind of gone over. It's also given me an opportunity to revisit some of this stuff and be like,
Hmm.
wow, my taste in music was terrible. So
Listen to some garbage.
yeah, so just absolute straight doo-doos, some ear doo-doos. So yeah, we're gonna wrap it up next week, and then in June we're moving on to another goofy subgenre.
Yep.
You wanna do all the outro social media stuffs, Mr. Tulso, and take it away for the folks?
Yep. As always, you're watching us either on YouTube or on Twitch at twitch.tv/MechaWolfpack. I am at the Tolsonator on Twitter. Steve is at Rage of the Mage. And God damn it, I don't want to fuck it up again. I can't find our Twitter handle for for Mecha Wolf.
Mecha Wolf Pack.
Yeah, twitter.com/MechaWolfpack.
Yep. We will see you guys next week, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7
7 p.m.
p.m.
Eastern.
Eastern, other time. Check you guys later.
Peace.